Greetings. Welcome, internet friends near and far, wherever you are. This is yet another episode of Parks and Conversation. It's a podcast where we watch Parks and Rec and then we talk about an episode. The math is simple, and I'm having a good time doing this. We're almost done with season 2, and so thanks for joining us on this journey. My name is Jason. I'm joined by my friend Jeremy, all the way across town. Say hello, Jeremy.
Hey, how's it going?
It's going great. And much like Perfect Strangers, nothing's going to stop us now, right?
Exactly.
Right. That's a good show. I don't know. I wonder if there is not a Parks and Rec conversation, a podcast about Perfect Strangers.
There will be now.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. Because every decision has been made in quantum physics. So that's how the multiverse happens. We learned about that in Community. I hope we are not in the darkest timeline. But regardless, today
Perfect
we're talking about
Perfect Strangers is about like Cousin Larry and Balky, right?
Yeah.
Okay. The one thing I remember about that, other than Cousin Larry and Balky, was the only line from that entire show I remember was Larry is so like enamored with Balky's positivity in life. And he goes, what would you say if someone says your mama wears combat boots? Like that was such a big insult, back in the 80s, I guess. And right. Balky says, when did you see my mama? That's the only thing I've ever met. I don't even know if that's funny. Like that's not even that funny. And it's like that stuck with me. So there you go.
It is funny. So Bronson Pinchot really just had that one breakout role. And I see him from time to time in different things. And I'm like, when are you going to do the Dance of Joy?
Yes.
That's all I want from him.
It's all coming back.
It's like Michael Richards. Like, I don't care what else you do. Just like slide in through Jerry's door. Just right. Like, I don't need you to be anything other than Kramer. So stop being a racist.
Right.
Michael Richards.
Worst role ever.
Yeah. He was surprisingly good at it, though. So today, what we're going to talk about is season 2, episode 17. And it is, oh man, I had the show listed here. It is called Woman of the Year is the official episode title. Basic summary of the plot. The Indiana Organization of Women has an award that they are going to give to a woman. This year, that woman is Ron Swanson. Problems arise. That's the summary.
Mm-hmm.
So, the cold open does a great job of setting up some of the tensions that we're going to see throughout this episode because Leslie is going out to a park and there is a conflict with scheduling between the boys' soccer team and the girls' soccer team, and the coaches are fighting. And so Leslie comes out to try to solve the problem, and there are all kinds of assumptions that are being made in this moment. And so Leslie, as our prime example of strong feminism, assumes that the woman coach is coaching the girls' team when actually she's coaching the boys' team, and then she says that's sexist. And the man coach who coaches the girls' team is like, yeah, it kind of is. And so it's great. Like she's like such a feminist, so in favor of equality and all these like good things. And even Leslie is not above the assumptions that are so common in our culture. So I thought that was a great open for the whole episode.
Yeah, I love the joke where she says, everyone has a right to play the sport, no matter how boring it is.
Right. Yeah. And soccer
yeah, go ahead.
Soccer is boring.
Oh, wow.
I don't care for it.
Not enough scoring?
No, not enough football. Like American football.
Okay.
So
100% not enough football.
Yeah, it's 100% less of the sport that I actually like. So
Gotcha.
Like I don't have a lot of bandwidth for sports that I don't already really like. So like if I'm going to try to get something with a low scoring game, I'm going to watch hockey. Because hockey is a lower scoring game.
Yeah, and
but it seems to move so much faster because they're on knives on their feet.
It's the fastest sport on ice.
It is, and it's so dangerous.
Mm-hmm.
So I've seen soccer injuries where the guy gets hit in the head and he like falls down, like his guts are gonna fall out of him, and then the guy comes over and like sprays the magic spray on them, and he's like, I'm better now. I can't abide that. Whereas in hockey, it's like two dudes just start punching each other in the face, and then they like go sit in the timeout box for a little bit, and they're like, I'm back. I'm ready to punch a guy in the face again. So
yeah,
if I have to choose between two low scoring games, I would lean towards hockey.
I like magic, so magic spray, it's pretty cool.
Sure. So so this soccer thing will come back later in the episode. But I thought that was a great setup. And then they come after the credits, they are in the office and there's mail call, and Leslie sees there's an envelope from the IOW, Indiana Organization of Women. And every year they give the Dorothy Everton Smythe Female Empowerment Award. And Leslie is so excited because the presence of the envelope means that she should be winning this award. Again, Leslie is making an assumption. And so she opens it, and Ron won the award. And Leslie is upset by this, and she says he's the opposite of a woman. Which is great. He's the opposite of a woman. And so when they tell Ron, he's like, well, it's about time. It's about time. So, and then Ron does a talking head where Ron says that awards are stupid. And of course, he's going to, recommend they give it to Leslie. But he also knows that she works really hard. He doesn't. And that she cares too much about these things. So he's going to tease her about it. So, which I love.
Mm-hmm.
Like Ron knows Leslie enough to say like, this is really going to annoy her and it will be fun for me.
Yes.
So it's the hardest he's worked ever.
Right. And I think this is one of those episodes that really endeared, well, I don't know for everybody in America, but like we start to really see more of Ron's personality come out and how he's okay messing with people. And he's kind of happy Ron versus grumpy Ron, even though he's messing with people. So I think we get to see that kind of playful side, and so, yeah, I think this really added to his character, this episode specifically.
Right. And, a couple of weeks ago, Leslie was trying to teach Ron not to drink and drive.
Mm-hmm.
And now we have an opportunity for Ron to teach Leslie to not care about things that don't matter.
Oh, how the turn tabled.
Exactly. So then it cuts to the B plot of this episode. Tom goes to the Snake Hole Lounge to meet with Fred to tell him that his liquor license got, and Fred does not understand at all what Tom is talking about. But essentially, Tom pulled some strings and got the provisional liquor license for this bar, and so
that was this opens up. And that was a great joke too, because like Tom, when he busted out all that the provisional license stuff, like he knows what he's doing. Like we give Tom such a bad time for being like this totally lazy person, and he is, but he knew. He knows a lot. He knows a lot about the inner workings of the government, but he always tries to be so cool that it's like, dude, just be yourself. You're actually, interesting.
Right. Just be a functional employee.
Yeah.
And like, you'll actually do things. Yeah. But we also see in this very episode, like in this conversation, Tom got into government to get favors for himself.
Right. That's why he says, like,
I did this for me. So, which like this leads to the owner of the Snake Hole Lounge offering Tom an investment opportunity to become a co-owner with one share of the Snake Hole Lounge for $10,000. Which, now, if Tom had successfully sued Wendy for alimony, this could have worked out really well for him. But
that's a good point.
Did not.
That is a good point. My question is, and I know they had to do it to put a clock on the episode as far as him getting the money, but why did Freddie need 10 grand by Friday? Like, is this really a business you want to get into?
Right. I think I think Fred is into some trouble
Right.
with the Feinstein Cologne Empire.
Uh-oh.
And so I think there's some machinations behind the scene that
Oh my
are
gosh.
working
And
against Fred.
if AMC did a spinoff of Parks and Rec where it was like the Snake Hole Lounge and the Feinstein Empire, but it was like the dark and gritty, that'd be amazing. I would watch that.
Yeah. Yeah, and
Like
Ben's dad.
like Breaking Bad. Yes. Yes.
That would be fantastic.
Oh man.
Yeah, so that's what Mikey came from. So it's like a Better Call Saul even before they called Saul.
Right.
I'm for it.
All right.
I am for it. So Tom, as part of this too, like they're talking, it does a talking head with Tom in the Snake Hole Lounge, and he's listing all these places, like his ideas, like always wanting to have a club, like Club Marine. It's a submarine themed club, which is stupid. But then he also drops a hint at Tom's Bistro, which, he thinks it's super classy, the word bistro, but that's a forward promotion to Tom's trajectory as a character, because he will have a bistro. So
he will.
It'll be great.
And it's classy. It's a pretty classy joint.
Yeah, for sure.
Better than Club a Dub Dub.
Club a Dub Dub sounds the dumbest. Club Marine, so dumb, and like so many bad ideas that Tom has, and he needs people in his life to say, no, that's a bad idea. But unfortunately, his best friend is John Ralphio. John Ralphio.
Yes.
So we'll talk more with Mr. Ralphio Saperstein later. So cuts back to the office, and Leslie and Mark are talking about the award, and Leslie is saying how mad she is and annoyed, and Mark is like, you know what you should do, and Leslie lists all the things, like write a letter to Obama and then lock herself in a room and scream until she loses her voice. That's the end of her ideas. And so Mark is just like, well, you should just go talk to him. And that's craziness in Leslie's world. And Anne calls, and Leslie immediately takes Mark's phone and talks to Anne. So, which is funny.
Leslie's in full on crisis mode at this point.
Yes.
And I thought
she needs her think tank.
Right. Mark and Anne.
Right.
And then her other one was like, Ron's not a woman. And then her idea was Camp Athena. And which kind of comes back up. And I was like, Athena, I know Athena, and she's like the goddess of wisdom. But then I looked it up on Wikipedia just because I was like, what else has Athena been up to? And I guess she's the goddess of wisdom, olives, weaving, and battle strategy, which I thought was pretty cool. Like, you're just kind of hanging out, being wise, eating some olives, making a basket. And you're like, you know what? Go exercise a pincher move on those guys over there. That's how you win that war. I don't know.
Yeah. Athena's a very busy fake thing. The other part about the Athena lore, so she calls Camp Athena her brainchild, and in mythology, Athena actually is born from the head of Zeus.
Oh, brainchild! I like it.
Yeah, so that's part. Like, there's some clever writing happening with all of that as well.
You could call Leslie's brain Zeus.
Well, you would call
from
Camp
here on
Athena Zeus's grand camp.
Okay, I like it
because it's Leslie's brainchild, but Zeus is, and then it's got to be your bull. So keep on rolling. So then it cuts to Tom and Jean Ralphio, because Tom is going to invite his boy to join him on the investment. And Tom has some money. He has $4,000, but he needs $6,000. And so he tells John Ralphio, I want you to join me in this. He's like, man, that's such great news. My grandpa just died. So I'm flush with cash. But I love that. That's great news. My grandpa just died.
Right. You could ask yesterday. I said no, but.
So, but John Ralphio only has 5,000.
Well, what about your trust fund?
Yeah, I can't get that till I'm 50. So, John Ralphio is a mess. And every time we meet him, he's more of a mess than we thought he was. So there's something going on in the Saperstein household that we will learn more and more about in the future. But This guy is a walking train wreck.
I like how they ended this scene too, because he's like, he tries to hit on April and she's like, don't you work at the Lady Foot Locker?
Right.
How do you even come back from that? That's
right. It's like, just go home.
You're done.
The thing about people like John Ralphio is they can't help but make themselves a spectacle.
Right.
Right. And so everybody probably knows like about him, but they don't know him because he's just around and like big hair, flashy clothes, singing when he enters rooms. Like, and so like April, like, I don't think she really knows him at all, other than I saw you at the mall and now Tom is inviting you to invest in a business. Like, what? You're working at a Foot Locker? So, which is funny because later on in the next season, Tom will be working at Lady Foot Locker for a spell. So,
yes.
So good. John Ralphio got him that job. Like that's that's the connection that's happening.
Universe just keeps getting better and better. Wow.
So John Ralphio and Tom are going to try to figure out some kind of investment strategy here. And then it cuts to the shoe shine stand where Burley is telling Andy all the things he's doing that are like making him a bad roommate. So he's got to do the dishes. He's got to stop taking notes on the wall. And I love that he's like, look, the bag of smells was a fun experiment, but I think it's over. And Andy's response is like, I think we're really coming to some new progress here. Whatever the bag of smells is, like he feels like they're making some headway. So, so Burley leaves and Andy's super annoyed. And Burley is the guitar player for Mouse Rat. But then April volunteers to help Andy find his own place. And he's like, oh, that'd be really helpful. That's great. So
did you see that Kyle wasn't getting a shoe shined?
No.
I was a little disappointed.
Yeah, it would have been great. It's because later on, because this is like the first invitation, but later on, there will be somebody there as they're talking about this. And April will read the available listings, and like she starts by reading like there's this Tudor mansion and it's 7 bedrooms and like a bunch of bathrooms. It's huge. And Andy is like, oh yes, this sounds great. I love this idea. And it's like $7,000 a month, and it's in Chicago. And she's like, well, I got $300. So, but he's like, oh, it's so close. And so they're like, oh, here's a place that could work. And they're like, all right, let's go right now. And they chained somebody in to the shoe shine stand, somebody that Andy was shining their shoes. And this is where, if this was Kyle, this would have been so great to just lock him in there. So, but missed opportunity, Parks and Rec writers, missed opportunity.
Kyle was busy. He was doing something. I don't know
something. What. Yeah. Stop being pretentious, Kyle. So Leslie, takes Mark's advice and goes and talks to Ron, and she says like, this is not right. You should not get this. And Ron's response, you think a women's organization made a mistake? Like, it's like so sarcastic. And then he says, Leslie, your job, which you're great at, is making me look good. And you've done such a good job at this that I won an award. Yeah. And you deserve an award, not this one, but some other lesser award. And he's like, listen, if you go ahead.
I was just gonna say, she's like, yeah, the camp was my idea. He's like, oh yeah, Camp Xena.
Right.
He doesn't even know the word. I mean, he knows, but he's pretending not to even know the name of the work that she's done, which just makes her even that much more frustrated.
Right. Yeah. So he's pushing all the buttons. And it's like, if you hadn't won an award, I would congratulate you. And so he's like just a terrible, terrible person if he was not aware of what he was doing. So she's just mad. And so she goes into her office, and then the girls' soccer coach comes in and says, hey, did you work on this field? And he's like, what can I tell you? It's a man's world. And he says, I'm a man. Like, what are you going to do? So she punches him over to Ron, and April tries to stop him from going in, and he just walks right in. So Leslie is realizing like if a man's going to get the credit, a man's going to have to do the work. And then she's like, but I can't because I love this job.
Right.
So she's in a real catch-22. And then Tom sends some invites to his coworkers to join him on this in this investment in the Snake Hole Lounge. So that's another complication to this episode. And then cut to Ron in his office wearing his polo shirt and a blazer because he's fancy,
right?
And then doing portraits for what he calls the IED award, and he's paying for it. It has nothing to do with the actual thing. He's just really messing with Leslie. So, and so my favorite part of this is trying to figure out, like, as he's doing these portraits, which item would best represent women in the workplace, this pot or this deputy director Barbie doll. I won an award for my boss. So so good.
My favorite part was when she's like, well, did you even get the field for the coach? And he's like, nope, I turfed it off to Donna. And she's like, well, that's not the attitude of an award winner. He's like, well, actually, that's the exact attitude of award winner because I won the award. Everything I do is the attitude of an award winner. It's so good.
He's just so terrible. And it's so funny.
It's great.
So that's when April and Andy leave the shoeshine booth and chain the guy in there. And then Tom's investment pitch is terrible. It's awful.
But nerdy like film thing, which I really liked, was that Andy closes the guy with the chain from the shoeshine stand. So he closes the chain off, and the very next cut is Tom opening the red velvet rope to the meeting because he has a red velvet rope to go across the door. So I thought it was a nice touch. I don't know if they did that on purpose, but I'm pretty sure they did. And so, yeah. But anyway, he starts his presentation with the lights and the dancers and all that.
Right. Anybody in here have a pacemaker or a history of epilepsy?
I do.
Yes, both. Nobody? Okay.
Okay. Oh. So, Jerry, you got soup on the mail.
So then Leslie's packing up all her plaques and awards, and she goes in to give them to Ron. And this is where Ron calls this thing the Dorothy Every Time Smurf Girl Trophy for Excellence in Female Stuff. Which, spoiler alert, is going to be the title of this episode. The whole thing. Because it's just so funny. And so then Ron gives Leslie the letter that he's going to send to the IOW saying Leslie deserves this award. Leslie feels like kind of like a doofus. And Ron says, listen, this is some Ron wisdom coming at us.
Right.
Awards are political, they're agenda driven, and don't chase them. Like that's what Ron's whole message for this episode is. And then you just see the star come across the screen. Da, 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 da. Like, how great is that, Ron? Thank you.
That's nice. Yeah.
Thank you. Cut to April and Andy at the apartment, and Andy is testing the acoustics in the bathroom by singing in there, which is very funny, and comes out as like, I could definitely see myself over here doing something and over here doing something, like trying to sound like he knows what he's doing.
If you watch Aubrey Plaza, I think she was about ready to break because she was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's very funny. And so the
gas stove.
Right. He lights it. Like, do you guys hear that? And the realtor, which I don't understand. Is she a realtor or is she just the apartment manager? But she's very dressed up. Anyway, she goes off and turns it off. It's like, you can light a match to get rid of that smell. Right. It's like, don't do that. Please, Andy, don't do that. And Andy likes the apartment. And so it seems like because he's saved up some money, he can make this happen. Yeah. And so April's super excited because they live close and they can carpool. And she's recently broken up with her gay boyfriends. So things are working out for April.
It's just like, so what do you think, Andy? He was like, well, make me an offer.
Yeah.
It's like, you don't know how this works, do you?
No. Andy. So cuts back to Tom's pitch. He's like, all right, you guys can invest for $1,000. And Jerry is great. He's like, I can't spend more than $25 without asking Gail. He's like, get out of here. And then Mark is out. He's not interested. And as Tom says, like, hey, if you do this, like, you never have to beg for sex again. He's like, I don't have to do that now. And he leaves. And then one of the dancers like, bye, Mark. Bye, Cindy. And then Donna's a maybe, but she wants to meet John Ralphio, who is this co-investor. So some tension.
Smart. That's smart though. She's a wise, she's a savvy business person.
Of all the people of business in this show, Donna will prove to be the savviest. So Ron meets with the director of the IOW, who we're watching Community with our kids.
Yeah.
And it's Frankie from Community. So she comes and says Leslie deserves the award. And, you know, the director of the IOW, she says, like, straight up, like, the reason we did this was because we want to get people's attention. So we're not giving it to Leslie. We're giving it to you. And now Leslie is really upset, and she says they need to go back in the kitchen and leave the real feminist work to feminists like Ron Swanson. So
she's gonna write the scathing speech, and she says, "He's like, yeah, do it. I'll read the speech, and you know, don't pull any punches." She goes, "I'm not going to pull my punches. I'm going to push them
as far as my arm will extend." So, and then so John Ralphio meets Donna, and he is peak obnoxious.
Yes. I didn't even write anything down for this. Like, there was so much John Ralphio. It was so condensed. It was so great.
Yeah.
All I wrote down is Donna hates John Ralphio.
That's what I wrote. I said, John Ralphio meets Donna. Donna hates John Ralphio. So
it's a great scene. I mean, yeah, just it's fantastic.
It's everything about that character, like, condensed into like a diamond of awful.
Yeah.
So Ron and Leslie go to the award banquet, and they meet with the director, and
wait,
she takes him.
Andy and Tom talk at the shoe shine. Oh, no. You're right. I'm sorry. You're right. I wrote down a word ceremony. It was just one little line. You're right, man. Keep going.
I was just gonna let it ride.
No.
So Ron and Leslie are there, and the director comes over and invites Ron over. And there's a point where Leslie can go no further, because like this section is only for award winners, and so just really rubbing it in. And Ron says, just keep working on that speech. And then it cuts back to Tom at Andy's shoe shine, and Tom is telling the struggle that he's going through. He's trying to invest. It's always been his dream. Why is it so hard to become a mogul? And then he says, I need $1,000. And Andy's like, I've got $1,000. You can have it. And his rationale is because in every song that he's ever written, there are these two lines: spread your wings and fly, and you deserve to be a champion. So like, if he can help somebody achieve his dreams, he's going to do it. And fun fact, I looked up on the IMDb machine, and every Mouse Rat song after this point has those words in it. So spread your wings and fly, or you deserve to be a champion. So,
amazing. Yeah. Because little Sebastian, champion, the dog, he writes one about his dog.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So all good, consistent character work there.
And I love how he says, like, I'm a singer-songwriter, and there's two lines I put in every song. So it's like, it's not a good singer-songwriter, but yeah.
Well, anybody can just say they're a thing.
That's true.
Like I was talking to somebody who said, I'm an artist. I was like, oh, really? What is your medium? And they couldn't answer the question. Like, what does that mean? What do you make?
They're an artist.
I guess. The
world is my canvas.
Exactly. I write a tapestry of life. What? How do you write a tapestry? So Ron is at the award ceremony, and they announce he's the winner of the award. And he goes up and he takes Leslie's speech out of his pocket and he starts reading it. And then he folds it up and puts it away and says every award is intended to be a way to honor somebody who really deserves it. And he gives it to Leslie. Leslie comes up and she's like, wow, this is great. And then she's like, I really don't deserve it. And she tries to give it back to Ron. And Ron's like, I don't want it. Take the damn thing. And Leslie, they just back and forth. And finally the director's like, just leave, just go away. And I love it. Leslie's response, like, who do I talk to about changing the nameplate?
Get off the stage.
And then April and Andy are talking about his decision to help Tom, and she's kind of disappointed in him, but she's like, I want to help my friends' dreams come true, and now I'm an investor like Warren Buffett. So, and then Leslie and Ron throw the award in the garbage together, and Leslie goes back for it. And the credit scene is Tom goes to the Snake Hole Lounge by himself, boasting about being a co-owner by himself, sits in the owner's booth by himself. And then looks over and he sees Donna with 3 guys in her owner's booth because she's an invested as well. And she gave 3 shares. So $30,000 invested into the Snake Hole Lounge. And so she's pretty stoked. So
and I love it. Like Tom gets so frustrated, he throws himself back, and I was like, "Why is he?" It's like, "Oh, because this is his idea." And Donna, like the person he was just trying to get $1,000 from, is a bigger baller than he is because he thinks this is the thing that's going to make him like, like on his way to become a mogul. And he's like, "Man, it's great, right. So great." And the only thing was, they didn't say how he got that extra $1,000.
It was Andy.
Oh yeah, duh. We talked about that.
So. Jean-Ralphio,
that's right.
Tom and Andy are co-investors in 1 share.
Yep.
Donna, invested all in. Like Tom could have ditched Jean-Ralphio and gone into business with Donna here on this investment and been like, it would have been great. But
again, Donna's the better business person. Yeah. Tom is loyal.
Yeah. Tom's loyal to the guy who got him 5 Gs. So, yeah. Whoa. Did you hear that?
Nope.
Oh, okay. Sorry. I was transferring something to a hard drive and it took a long time and it just ended. So,
congrats.
Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it, internet. So, that was just in my headphones. So that's the Dorothy every time Smurf girl trophy for excellence in female stuff episode. It's a good one. It's fun.
I like it.
We get more Ron and Leslie shenanigans, which I always like because they're great opposites.
Mm-hmm.
So they're fun when they are cast as being antagonists that come together. And so that's kind of this episode. We get to meet more Jean-Ralphio, who is hilarious and terrible. And we see how kind Andy is.
Yeah.
So he's just a kind dude.
Yeah. I like that. Yeah. I like that in this episode, there was kind of like 3 plots, but 3 threads, but 2 of them came together, which I thought was really good writing. This because Andy's search for his apartment ended up helping Tom's plot to become, to get this share, which is a big part of it. So at the beginning, you didn't see how these were connected, and then they connected them at the end, which was kind of cool.
Right.
And then also during the award ceremony, Ron calls it the Dottie English Whatever Award. So just to round out all of the names that he called the award.
Yeah. So all in all, good episode, solid mid-season. As we're coming around to the end of season 2. And next week is the possum. So we're going to meet the animal control department, which is great.
Yes.
And then after that is park safety. So just building out the universe a little bit more. And it's so good. I love this run here. So yeah. And I don't know if you can hear that, but my son is practicing his trumpet.
I do.
So it's probably time to go wrap this up. So it's a little shorter than in the past, but we're giving people an early Friday. So
take the day off. Take the next 26 minutes off. Cool, man.
So
right, enjoy your trumpet time, and
so much enjoying.
I'll talk to you next time.
Yes, indeed. I'll see you later.
All right, bye.